I'm shaking. I'm so excited with adrenaline. Who here is from another state? You came here from a... Whoa! How many of you came here on an airplane? Wow, how many of you drove a really long way? How many of you carpooled? Oh, I love it. Yes. All right, so I think you deserve a big ass round of applause, right? This only happens because of you, so thank you for making it here. Thank you so much. My pleasure. So my home state is California. Yeah, California in the house. Now my dad, however, was born and raised here in Iowa. Yeah. And right here on a farm. And his highest level of education was 7th grade. Now, this was during a time when 7th grade was the highest level of education that you were required to get. So I guess during that time, they were fighting for 8th grade for all. But my mom's highest level of education was high school. They went on to remarry other people, thank God. And then they had a lot of kids. And so I have 8 brothers and sisters. And I am the only one of my entire large family who ended up graduating college. Thank you. And I did that in large part because I was determined specifically to teach high school in a low-income area. I had this theory at the time that inequality was due to the lack of quality education for everybody, regardless of what kind of money you're born into. And so that's exactly what I did. I taught high school for 10 years in Garden Grove, Orange County, California. I taught in our school mostly served first and second generation students from Mexico. I taught English, and then I also designed and taught an intervention program for students who were at risk of not graduating high school. And so it was through working with those incredible families and my own experiences that I realized that every single thing that affects our lives is influenced by policy, right? Whether it's education or the economy, jobs, environment, healthcare. So eventually I realized that my theory was wrong, that the root cause of our struggles is not our education system, although there is a lot we need to reform. Our education system is a consequence of the real underlying issue, which is the lack of accountability on our legislators and the corporations who own them. I love seeing those signs. I love it. Yeah, that looks great. The root cause is the corrupting influence of money in our political system that ends up inspiring the policies that affect our families. And so once I realized this, there was no turning back for me. Like many of you, I was working full-time, and then I was volunteering all of my free hours to do as much as I could for this cause. And eventually I dove in headfirst into Wolfpack, which you probably saw out there. So Cenk Uygur founded Wolfpack, and the goal of Wolfpack is to get an amendment to the US Constitution that will overturn Citizens United and related cases so we can, yes, so that we can end the corruption and all the end corruption signs go up. You guys are amazing. I love the self-organization. And so that we can end this corruption and instill publicly funded elections. So after organizing thousands of volunteers throughout the state of California to help get Wolfpack's measure passed through that state, I went on to do the same for several other states. And then eventually, I ended up stepping down from teaching in order to help run Wolfpack. And then that led me on an unpredictable journey where I ran for office last year. And I ran for US Senate in California against Dianne Feinstein as a Justice Democrat. And Justice Democrats is yet another organization that Jack helped to get started. And so while I clearly didn't win that race, these combined experiences taught me a lot. And one of the most valuable lessons has been to witness how propaganda works, to experience just how much of an influence our corporate media has on our elections and the policies that affect us. I have seen how the beast works. I have been inside the belly, and it has caused me to wonder once again, what really is the root cause of the corruption, of what is happening throughout the world? Is it the corrupting influence of money in our political system, or is it corporate media? And what I've concluded at this point is that it's both, right? They really are one and the same in a lot of ways, with their access to legislators, with their sheltered, privileged existence that leads them to their establishment bias. And so we're fighting back. That's why you're here, right? So as an educator, I see media as a platform for helping to inform people. Our media is extremely important. And so we must hold them accountable as much as we hold our legislators accountable. And this has led me to doing what I am now, which is running the TYT Army. How many of you who here is a current volunteer for the TYT Army? You're working with me directly. Stand up. Stand up, TYT Army volunteers. Thank you. So these people you can talk to about it. And I definitely want to say, all of you are the TYT Army. Let's keep it real, okay? All of you are. But what we have started doing is organizing in a strategic manner with the TYT Army community to hold our media accountable for their establishment bias, neutral reporting, and propaganda. We also monitor legislators, candidates, social media, and independent media as well. And we started building and really organizing the infrastructure for this just this last December. And we already have journalists in the media who are responding to us. Just this week, we had somebody from, the Washington Post? The Washington Post respond. He put out an article about Medicare for All. We called him, we fact-checked his fact-check, and he responded, and we went back and forth. That's what we're doing, and you can be part of that. Now, the easiest way that you can help, and it may feel small, but it's not, is to follow us online if you aren't already, TYT Army. You can go to tyt.com/army to find all of our social media accounts. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, like our posts, share our posts, comment on our posts. It may feel small, but that is the largest part of what we're doing. And if you are like me, and you have canceled your social media accounts because you're protesting what it's doing to the world, I don't blame you, but let me just make this argument, why I reopened my accounts. Because social media, technology is being weaponized against us. It's being used to silence us, to pit us against each other, to dumb us down, to scare us into submission. So we are coming together collectively as a TYT Army, and we are fighting back. So if you can do that much, that is a huge help to amplify our work. But you can also join one of our 4 task forces. This is all on our website. You can help us to identify bias and propaganda. You can help us to research the facts, craft messaging for our social media posts. You can create graphics, memes, videos, write articles, help to build our progressive network so we can reach beyond TYT's base. There's so many opportunities for you. And I want to say it's important that we do recognize that it's not our intention to take down media. It's important. It's our intention to bring integrity to media. It's our intention to build responsible, objective reporting. That's why TYT exists in the first place. When people like my family, and I'm sure many of you have the same experience, when they get most of their news from corporate media and Facebook, and they use that not just to vote, but for how to view the world and how to treat their neighbors, It is critical that we take on this fight. I always told my students that if they left my class never remembering a single story that we read or an author that we studied, but they walked away learning how to critically think, then I've done my job. If they learn how to question the answers, how to avoid confirmation bias, how to identify reliable sources, how to question those sources, then I have done my job. Because critical thinking is necessary for freedom. It is necessary for true democracy. But when we have a system of pay to play that hampers people's ability to access facts and objective reality, our ability to critically think is at risk. And that is one of the most dangerous things that can happen to this country. So I'm standing with you here today because the fight to end corruption and instill responsible, objective media and representatives is in my soul. And I could not be more proud to join you in this fight for human rights throughout the world. Thank you.